City Council workshop meeting to order at 6:04 p.m. on Monday, September 11th. Can we have roll call, please?
Yes. All right. Councilmember Franco? Here. Councilmember Cook?
Here.
Councilmember Fairley?
Here.
Councilmember Osborne? Here. Councilmember Thomas?
Here.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we approve this evening's agenda.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. So moving on to number 4, presentations, playground updates by Joel Berman and with Wheel Recreation. Hello.
Oh, how are you? Hi, so I was asked to come and talk to you today about upgrading your playground at John Matchett Memorial Park. And so right now we currently have a playground that's a little over 20 years old, and Russ and the team asked me to talk to you all about possibilities for what you could do with the playground. And so basically what I wanted to talk to you about, what I have here, is some information about your existing structure and the project that we wanted to take on. So that's what I was prepared to go through with you, some pictures of the playground, what's out there now, and some of our ideas about how we could upgrade the playground, which involves everything from swing repair and paint and just cleaning up what's going on in that area, to fixing the borders and the surfacing, as well as figuring out ways to use the existing equipment in other parts of the city. So I can jump right into a presentation, but I don't know if you all have some questions that you wanted me to touch on first.
I think if you want to jump right in, if we have questions after, we can ask those.
Okay, great. So, first and foremost, the playground is here to support the community. The target demographic of kids that we're trying to support with this playground would be children ages 2 to 12. And so we really want to try to come up with a solution that's inclusive of everyone. So, behind you here on the screen are a couple pictures, the existing playground, what it looks like, as well as kind of the Google Earth view from above. So you can kind of see the areas that we're working with. The recommendation from what we've looked at so far is to really focus more on the playground area, not the swing area. The swing area we should be able to clean up and make work without needing to replace anything. So just being sensitive to budgets and how we plan to build out for the community. So here are some more photos of the existing playground and what's out there. You have multiple slides, some climbing, but there's a lot of opportunity for incorporating new types of play patterns and features in the playground. And so that's something that we look forward to working with you on identifying. So this next one here really looks at swing enhancements. So you can see here from some of the photos where there's wear on some of the swings. My understanding is they squeak a lot and they don't feel super safe to some of the people using them. So we definitely want to get in there and just try to clean those up and make sure that they're working optimally, that they look nice. For this swing area, that could also involve fixing the borders and adding more wood chips to the area to create a nicer surfacing for if anyone should fall. So this is just a few more images of the swing area. And then the one other piece that I included from the scope of this project is, beyond just, when we upgrade your existing equipment, there could be an opportunity to take some of the old equipment and move it down the street to one of the other park entrances. And so, thinking there would be down by First in Milwaukee. I don't know if you have a name for that park or the entrance there, but there could be a possibility to add the equipment in this zone that I highlighted. So really kind of some of the things that we want to get into with the community, and my understanding is that there is an advisory group that's being organized that I can work with on this, is to really kind of identify what types of plays, what types of features do you want incorporated into this solution. And that's everything I listed here, but everything from slides to climbers, equipment that might incorporate movement, like spinners, or obviously you have swings, so we don't really need to worry about that. But maybe elements that incorporate imaginative play for some of the younger kids that want to role play. STEM learning activities. And then in addition to that, actually shade structures, shades of consideration as well. So, that's one of the areas I'd love to get into with some of the folks from the community to get feedback about what you really want. And then I can work with my design team to come up with some designs. So, here's just a few images of the types of things that, you might be able to do with the playground today. And, really we want to look at a few areas. One, the equipment, also the surfacing. I know a lot of people talk about the wood chips and maybe not enjoying using wood chips so much. The reality is they're just a lot more economical and accessible than some of the other surfacing types like artificial turf or poured-in-place rubber or rubber tiles. But I know that most communities like the idea of having those types of surfacings, so that's certainly something that we could also explore if that's something that the community is interested in. Here, this image shows some of the examples of what I was talking about there with regards to the surfacings, the artificial turf, the wood chips, the poured-in-place rubber, and the tiles. So really, as far as next steps go on this piece, I'm looking forward to connecting with the advisory board, working with them to develop 3 different designs that we can then present to you and the community for feedback. So, the way that I'm thinking about this is a good goal would be to be ready to present those, review those with you by next month's meeting. And to ideally have the designs ready sooner. My understanding is that budgets are finalized in December, so we want to make sure we're working backwards to build this into the plan, potentially. And then obviously looking to finalize something towards the end of the year, so that way we can get the equipment ordered and be on track to have something installed for you in the late spring in time for your summer.
Are you talking about also replacing those swings on the side of the deal out there on the sidewalk?
I'm not sure I know what you're talking about, but there's just swings on the sidewalk.
On the far side?
So the swings on the far side, the plan is to actually just go through and fix anything that needs to be replaced as far as cables or other things. But you have a nice structure there, so we don't need to take out the whole structure. We want to be smart about this. So rather we'll upgrade, we might replace some of the actual swings and the seats if we need to. We'll add some oil and maybe replace some cables if we need to. But the focus there is really, let's put the money where we can have the greatest impact. And I think that's going to be more with your other playground equipment.
I know the swings are always busy, so I figure they need some repair.
They need some love, right? Okay, good. That's definitely an important component.
Now, how long has your company been in business?
So BCI Burke, we've been around for over 100 years. All of our equipment is American made, and it comes from Wisconsin and also from Indiana. And my company, Bio Recreation, we're local to Oregon and Washington, and we've been around for over 20 years. And we've been working with BCI Burke since we started.
So are you, you've been in all phases of this construction of this?
Yeah.
And the funding side as well?
Yeah, so we can work with you on the funding, and that's something that I know we're going to need to work with your team on. So I was planning on kind of jumping into that with the advisory group.
Yeah.
There are grants out there that are available to support, some of this. But we might need to, we're going to need to get creative about how we think about that.
Right, thank you.
If wood chips are the least expensive, and probably poured-in-place is the most expensive.
Yeah,
What's the next one up from wood chips? Is that artificial turf? So how do those kind of stack up? Artificial turf, tiles, poured-in-place? I know those 3 are expensive, but
you wanted some context. So, what I can tell you is that the tiles, the artificial turf, and the poured-in-place rubber tends to be really about 8 to 10 times as expensive as the wood chips. So you might be looking at $5,000 to do your wood chips out there instead of $750,000.
for all 3 of those.
They're all in the similar range, yeah. I mean, it depends a little bit on exactly which turf we select or which tile we select, but from a ballpark standpoint, once you factor in the cost of it and then the actual installation component of it, that's kind of what you're looking at.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
So based on the timeline here, you say that you wanna have, discussions with the advisory board before our meeting in October. And this might be a question for Jessica, do we have the advisory board set up yet? Do we have that in the works? Because
First meeting is in October.
okay,
That's
so,
very good.
yeah, that was my,
So our timeline is a little backwards, okay. So
Right,
I guess, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I would like to have some input from the community before I start working on designs for you. So, and if we're trying to work backwards from the standpoint of having something for you in the spring, then, you know, we could look at pushing this out 1 month, but then we're gonna have to be really dedicated to making sure we're focused on getting the designs done. And that's not going to give us quite as much time to work through budgeting and financing, but those are aspects that I can try to work on with folks.
So do you have anything local that we can go look at, or?
We have playgrounds all around that I can send you to, so I can provide a list of some parks if you'd like, or we could also share some just images of different playgrounds we put in, if that would be helpful.
Maybe we'll try that could take over and try them all out, so.
You want to test them all out? But I'll make sure I follow up with some photos.
Take your grandkids and let them try.
That's right, yeah. As long as there's a bench, like right there.
Let them push you in the swing.
See, we're gonna have a place for grandpa to sit.
Make sure we get some benches.
Do you have benches for grandparents?
We provide everything from benches and tables and shade structures to dog parks and fitness equipment as well, so pretty much a full gamut.
Hey Joel, did you guys put in this park down here? Did you have anything to do with that, or was that done by somebody else?
The one that you have here currently, or which one?
Yeah, but correct.
That was us originally.
Okay, so that was there, he was asking me if you had done business with us before, yes.
And you know, like I said, I'll be happy to share some more information from other projects we've done.
In fact, you told me that, and I just was trying to pull it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get out and see with the new parks. Something 20 years we were.
Most definitely. Well, you know, I can take you around to take a look at some parks, and I can also send a lot of different images of ones that we put in, so you can get a sense of what's out there.
Images with addresses would be great.
Okay.
If something strikes us, then we can always just go
We'll check it out.
check it out.
They can't go out as a group, and they can't go out more than by themselves or one or two, because we would be considered a quorum at that point. So we have to be real careful how. Right.
And you know, some of our parks are at schools, so those you actually need to have permission sometimes to go on depending upon the hours. But you know, we also have the public parks.
So don't walk on at recess then, right?
Probably not.
You might get stopped.
But I did circulate. I know I've left at least one playground catalog with you, Russ. Right? You have it.
Yes.
And the reality is the possibilities for what we create are, I mean, they're pretty much endless. And so it really gets back to sort of budget and, you know, what types of features you really want to incorporate. And so you know, I'm excited just to work with the community to figure out, you know, what those things are and how to make it happen.
any other questions? Alright, so I guess we'll have our advisory board meeting and get your feedback and move forward with this.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you. Alright, moving on to discussion, 2024 budget priority items.
Alright, let's change over.
Bill Benz.
Thank you.
So, just to refresh everyone's memories, some of the things that we talked about at the budget retreat were technology updates to improve the website and the financial system. We also talked about personnel and what it would be to get an assistant for Gary. And then we also talked about parks and doing bathroom updates and the playground updates, which we just got a presentation on. And looking at rental fees for our park facilities. Open this whole part.
It's blinking up.
Keep going. I got you.
There it goes. It's lighting up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There you
Okay. Alright, so the first one I wanted to go over is the website update. I got a quote from Revised Government, and I actually talked him down. He wanted to do 12,000 to switch over. I got him down to 9, and we're looking at 2,200 annual costs with them. We're currently paying 1,800 for our Civic Plus. So for $400 more every year, we're looking at customizable forms, being able to search the website, so you just put in a keyword and it'll take you right to it. Translated options. I mean, we don't have a Spanish version of our website, so that would be an awesome addition to it. 24/7 customer support. What we do on the website is archived, and there's an audit trail, and it's ADA compatible. And what's cool is you do customized alerts. So if you go to our website, a little pop-up window will come up and say, Algona Day, tomorrow, be there. And then you can close out and keep doing what you're doing. In fact, I think it's Olympia. See in the bottom left corner there, they have this pop-up window. It's crazy to think that we can do a website like this with our antiquated one. And just to give you another example, here's Covington. So the only thing about using Revise instead of Civic Plus is our Muni code would be compatible with it. So Muni code is the thing that's generating your agendas for you, making the links on our packets. Are there any immediate questions about the website? Just to keep you updated too, I'm trying to work it into this year's budget. I think after third quarter's done, we might be able to squeeze it in this year.
Have you talked to somebody like, Covington or Monsanto and see how they, because a company can tell you and show you the beautiful things and wonderful things that happens, but doesn't an actual end user about how they like it and how it works for them?
Yeah, I haven't actually talked to anybody about it yet. They are right up there with Civic Plus though. They're one of the top used websites by local government. Alright, so next one is the financial system upgrade. I looked into a whole new system, which was $90,000 to transition to. This one I'm showing tonight is to just upgrade our current version from the server-based option to the cloud-based option. So we're looking at just $3,700 to migrate with an annual price of $17,725. We're currently paying $10,400. With this upgraded option, we'd be able to work from anywhere, not be tied down by a server. And it's becoming quite outdated. We keep having to do updates and work with us and getting past some of the issues with it.
Would that one meet your needs?
This would be,
I mean, would it be something you'd be happy with?
it'd be an admin need, yeah. talk to Julie and Dan about it since we're the most frequent users, and it would make things a little more streamlined, so, yeah.
Is this like a 5-year fix or a 10-year fix, or is this?
Good question.
I think with any software, and these days, 4 years is probably your top. You know, if you're going past 4 years on a software, you're probably outdated. So I just think it's an ever-evolving product.
Question. What about the credit card payment or customer payments?
So Springbrook recommends using Express, and we already use Express. And he did make the comment when I was talking to him about it that the cloud version of their system is better integrated with the cloud, well, with Express. That's their whole
But
online
will we still be limited to going in and looking at, doesn't it Express the one that we can only get into 2 or 3 times a month or something? I'm trying to remember exactly what.
Yeah, so credit card payments are processed within 2 to 3 days, and that's through our Chase credit card system. And then we also get, if you put your bank, it's so hard to explain. So if you put your bank account in your utility account on Express, or you do an online check, it takes those funds and puts it in a holding account in Express, and then the city actually has to log in and hit transfer to get those funds into our bank account. And essentially, it's 1 time a week we can do that. They only allow us to do it 5 times a month to be able to get our own funds from that.
And you can only use Express with this, and we'd have to, in order to get away from Express, then we need to upgrade to
There's other options for credit card for online platforms for taking payments. That's just the most recommended version.
but this version would really satisfy your current needs to upgrade, except for Express.
Except for the payment processing, yes. Now, it will make it easier if someone comes in person to process their payment. If that makes sense. There's a lot of little nuances, so.
Well, it sounds like it's something that you need and it'll work for you. And I mean, 'cause I don't think any of us are gonna be working with it too much. So.
I think the big issue is the server. And that's one thing that we're working on, is trying to move away from the server.
Right. As I mentioned at the last council meeting, Auburn's wanting to move away from supporting us. One of the things, we actually have a meeting with another jurisdiction with a local person that actually lives in town, but he's the IT person for another jurisdiction. I actually went to school with this gentleman when you guys sent me back to the University of Washington. So I have a good relationship with him. He's interested. We're setting up dates for next week to have a follow-up meeting the mayor and I have about IT services and what that looks like. That being said, I have a personal mission to migrate us off in-person servers, right? Because ours are out of warranty. And Dell wants about 20, we have 3 servers, they want about 25 grand each to get them back to where we were. I think that's, for our small operation, it's cheaper to buy cloud space. It also allows us flexibility to go to Windows 360, Office 365, allows us to work remotely without NetMotion. At that time, the PD would be the only place that would have to have NetMotion. We would have a considerable cost because we pay a license for every computer that has NetMotion on it. And just being able to, if we do buy new technology, it needs to be cloud-based. I think that's the way of the future, and we discussed it, we researched it. Moving to a cloud base is going to require us to do an RFP. Even Auburn, when I was talking to them, when they were breaking the news to me, they had to hire an outside consultant, project manager, to come in and migrate. They're only halfway migrated themselves to cloud. And so we would want, it'd be real easy for us to fully go to cloud. We're so small, but we would have to, and talking to other jurisdictions as well, we would have to send out an RFP for a contractor to come in and do that project for us. So there's gonna be some expense with that. And we are in the process of, like I said, the mayor and I and Jessica are meeting with other alternatives, and we've got a few companies. CEW has a government division that does those projects. So I've reached out to them. They're a big company, we're a little fish, so I'm gonna have to ping them again, but we will get bids, but that's gonna be some added cost, one-time cost of migrating over.
So migration costs are $3,700. That's fairly cheap.
Yeah, same company, so it's easy for them to migrate.
Yeah, keep in mind, if we break away from Auburn, we need to do a clean break. And that means a new RMS system for the police department, because we currently piggyback off of Auburn. And those costs, to get that project going, is around $31,000. And then they'll be the same residual, about what we pay Auburn, right around $7,000 residual a year for the licensing. And it's called eForce. I've done some research. It helps me out, nighters and those kind of things. And what it'll do is it'll be cloud-based as well. So again, I think for us, that's just where we need to be headed.
How will that affect our budget?
There's going to be some added one-time costs, and we may have to phase these in over time to offset those costs. But there's going to be about, between Jessica and myself, there's probably going to be about an extra $45,000, in cost to migrate everything over. I would say 60 to play it safe, because we haven't done the RFP yet for what the project manager will charge us to move to cloud and Windows 365. So.
Do you know, Chief, if if you were to go to a cloud-based service, would that allow us to access it and still, like, if I could sign on from my own computer?
Yep.
So then that wouldn't open my computer up to public records request,
We would
because
still,
you're already in the cloud.
right. We would ask that you still use your city-issued device to access it. But yes, you could potentially access it from anywhere without having to use NetMotion and going through our server, then to the whatever you're accessing. So yes, you can also do business by the phone. We'd ask you to use the city device.
Yeah, and I was thinking not, just as a convenience, because we all know, get this out and get, I'm already on a computer. If I can just go, hey, is there any emails from the city? No? Okay, next. If I see some, then I could, or something needs my time and my,
As long as you don't download it, I think you're covered.
Then you can switch over and actually do work here. But it's, as you know, it's really inconvenient to
100%.
check in all the time. And then I feel like sometimes we're out of the loop at the time on that.
Correct.
So the next one is personnel. There's a question about looking into getting an assistant for the community connector position again. I did a comparison for cities with populations under 10,000 in King and Pierce County areas. The top three that came up was Faircrest, Forwarding, and Buckley. Forwarding actually has a part-time person for event planning, and for 24 hours a week, they're looking at $2,900 to $3,200. So the average of all those options, you're looking at $2,950 a month, so $35,500 a year. Any immediate questions about that? All right, Russ?
Bathroom update. Let's see. Okay, both bathrooms are the male and female bathrooms equals about 540 square feet. To upgrade those bathrooms, they give a cost of about like $120 a square foot. So it'd be like 64,000 to upgrade the bathrooms. The whole inside is what they recommend. I think that's probably a little bit higher. I think we could do a little cheaper than that. But along with that, though, we talked about doing the addition on the back side of that, which is 255 square feet if we square it up. And I took the building cost in this area, you know, just building a house, which is about $350 a square foot. So that would come to $89,000 to do that addition on the back. I mean, with that, we talked about doing a concession stand with that addition and stuff. So I think maybe if we were to combine them both together, I think we'd probably get a cheaper price. Kind of gives you an idea what the cost is to do the upgrades on that bathroom with the addition. I think that's it, unless you guys got any questions on the bathrooms.
Is that adding more bathrooms or just redoing the two?
It would be redoing the two. And it would be all the, you know, make sure it's all ADA compliant with all the stainless steel fixtures and stuff.
So what type of surface would be inside? I mean, it's not gonna be the block wall, it's gonna do something different, or is
It would probably still be the block wall, would be my guess. So we could talk about, you know, possibly adding, you know, remodel, doing something different in there, adding some couple different stalls too. I think there could be room in there to do that. And still be ADA compliant.
I would also doing time locks, upgrading the locks on the door and the doors, so we're not physically having to go out there with a key. And you know, like Sunday, some people were using the ball field. I got a text, so you know, make sure the bathrooms are unlocked, those kind of things. So it'd be easier to, you know, put some quality locks on there and being able to control access.
Yeah, we would need to change out the doors and everything to do that, so they would actually close properly.
So I heard you say they don't close.
No, without help.
No, without help.
They help, yeah,
Yeah, they're in sad shape.
they are. I think that's why they leave them propped open and stuff. So.
Do you want to add about playground updates?
No, I don't have anything other than just what Joe went over.
I'm sorry, Joel, did you go over pricing at all
Oh,
earlier?
Well, I mean, all we really talked about was a budget, probably about $100,000 would be like everything. But again, without understanding surfacing, without understanding what the community wants to prioritize, you know, we can work with a range, a budget range. It's more about understanding kind of how you where you guys are going.
And then the last thing is the baseball and picnic shelter rental fees. This is just an extra revenue for the budget. So I think this would be a great first topic for the Community Center Advisory Board. And then we can plan on getting it to the first meeting of November and get it through this retouch process before January and have it start the new season. So is that a good approach, or do you want me to do something different with it? Any other budget retreat priority item questions? I know there was a couple things missing, like the city administrator stuff. I'm gonna let the mayor take that on. And then there was a few others that we're still hammering out the details. And we'll get back to you.
We will give you an update on Channel 21. We'll have a little bit, something more final, but I think the staff's recommendation is going to be that we dump Channel 21 and just invest in our online platform. Better streaming cameras, better mics, and just go to increasing our capacity of our YouTube channel.
I have a question. When we go to the new website, can we post so people can go there and record can we post the council meetings on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd recommend not dumping the 21. Would recommend keeping that, it's a government channel that we can hang on to.
Well, yeah. No,
But I mean, as far as the best, my apologies.
What we got on there is not good.
Right.
It's not.
Well, and it's been a constant battle for as many years as I've been on the council.
And it's been on the top of my list as well.
Yeah.
And so nothing has happened, other than a video that's been put up. It's a good video, great video, it's just platform it's not right.
No, we know that.
So, and just go to YouTube, that's another area that you can go.
Well, if we keep 21, we're gonna use YouTube to do the videos anyway, correct?
That's fine.
And then put them on channel 21, but we'll look into it and talk about it some more. Thank you.
Okay. So then we will move on to audience participation. The City Council encourages public participation during meetings of the City Council and welcomes your comments. This time is set aside for you to speak to the City Council on any issue. The Council ordinarily takes non-agenda matters under advisement before taking action. You are also invited to comment on action items as they are considered during the meeting. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each in addressing the City Council. When addressing the Council, please speak clearly and audibly and state your name and address for the record. Any comments? Anything online, Jessica?
Only one, nope.
Alright. Before I adjourn the meeting, I did want to just ask a question, Jessica. The photos that we took a couple weeks ago, were those ever sent out for us to see?
Yes, you want a physical copy or a digital copy?
Digital copies are fine. I'm just curious how they turned out.
Yes, in fact, between meetings, I'll send them out.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Any other questions, council members? All right, then we will